Road mapping for success, setting the goals and the steps to reach success as you define it. So there are steps to road mapping, and the first step is to visualize your business at the goal point. So in other words, once you've reached your goal, what does your business look like? What's your revenue that you're realizing? How many clients do you have? And how are you spending your time? All of these things are really important, and so you just want to envision it as if you are there to see what does it look like? What are you doing? What products and services are you offering? How are you spending your time? What do your clients look like? Get a really good, as detailed as possible picture of what your business looks like once you've hit your goal. Now, key, you got to write it down. And you can do bullet points, but you want to put it down on paper. There's something that happens to us when we take what's going on in our head and we put it down on a piece of paper that makes it more real. Once you've gotten it written down, identify the top 3, at most, goals. You can have 1, but you don't want to have more than 3 because they'll be impossible to get done. So take a look at it and say, okay, these are the heavy hitters. Here's the revenue I want to realize, or here's how many clients. Maybe it's rolling out a new product. Whatever it is, identify what they are. And then what you're going to do is you're going to work backward to determine what the action steps are that you can actually start taking today to get the process rolling. Now, this is a chart that I created so that you can actually visualize putting everything down on paper. So, once you've figured out what your goals are, write them down on those lines right up there by the goal date. Remember, you don't have to have 3, but you don't want any more than 3. And then back where you see now, those are feet, those are, shoes. Those are your action steps that you're going to start right now to get the ball rolling. And you want to make sure that you put due dates on those action steps so you know when you want to have them accomplished. What happens is, as you get each step done, it tells you what the next step is that you're going to need to get done, and then you just set those up. And you put these steps on your calendar. One of the biggest mistakes we make is that we don't put it on a calendar as an actual appointment, as an actual activity that we're going to engage in. So we run the risk that we're not going to actually get it done. Now here is the road mapping goals and activity pyramid. A client of mine said he really looked at this in terms of that it's a pyramid where, you've got one thing at the top and you work your way down to many things. And it was so impactful for me that I thought, wow, you know what? I am actually going to create that pyramid for you folks. So it starts with, what is your annual goal? That's at the very top, and that's one thing. Now remember, I said you can have 3, but we're going to do this pyramid for each goal, and you'll see what I mean as we work through it. Once you have that goal, you have to break it down quarterly. What are your quarterly benchmarks? So where do you want to be? Break it down to, if this is my annual goal, here's what I want to be at the end of the first quarter. Here's what I want to be at the end of the second quarter, and so on. And then you want to break that down even further. You want that to be monthly expectations. And you're going to see in a minute the reason why. Specific action steps that are calendarized. Now, what happens here is, within the month, you're going to say, if this is what my monthly expectation is, what do I need to do during that month to make sure that that happens? And one of those action steps should be that on the last day of the month, you're going to take a look backward at the month and ask yourself 4 questions. How did it go? What worked? What didn't work? And did I hit my goal? Because the answers to those 4 questions are what's going to dictate how you're going to step into the next month. The reason we break it down to monthly expectations is because if something didn't go quite right, you have an opportunity to fix it immediately. If you wait for the quarter, you will wait too long. If you wait for the year, you will definitely wait too long. Doing it on a monthly basis is the perfect amount of time. It gives you the opportunity to actually get things rolling and going, and you can really then assess how it worked. At the same time, if it went really, really well, you can take a look at what worked, what action steps were eventful, that were impactful, and you can make sure you're incorporating those into the next month, because you don't want to reinvent the wheel if you don't have to. What you're trying to do is create a process and a system that works really, really well for you and your business, and the only way you know that is to keep track of it. So there you go. It's really not a hard system. I will tell you that I'm going to be doing this on my radio show on December 17th. It's a special date for the show. It'll be at 1 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern time, where we're going to go through this actual process of visualizing and getting things written down, and you have the opportunity to talk about where you're going. It works really, really well. It's why I do it every year. It'll get you started off on a great road for 2013. But if you can't make the show, or you find out that you want to work on this right away, or you end up working on it later, if you're having any sort of trouble, reach out. We can work on it together and get you set up.